You're up there on stage by yourself, vibing. It's cool, but if you got someone next to you, it's like they mix in a track, and it's like, oh, dude, that track's fire, and then you're like, yeah, and then like you play, and then you mix in your track, and you're just hugging, handshaking, vibing together, like you got a partner up there, like it's super fun.
This the podcast with a prodigy. This the podcast with a prodigy. This the podcast with a prodigy. My podcast.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Podcast with Prodigy. Shout out to Mama Prod for the name. Today I'm joined here by another special guest by the name of Tyler Ryan. 2 Y's, don't forget it.
You better not forget the 2 Y's.
How you doing, man? Where you coming from?
I'm doing pretty good. I hail from Corona, California, right here.
Yeah? How long have you been in Corona?
About 25 years. I was born in Orange County, but moved over here when I was a kid. Been here ever since.
Nice. You like it here, or would you rather move?
Well, in a perfect world, I would like to be by the coast, by the beach. I love Orange County, Costa Mesa, Huntington, that whole area. I mean, God willing, make it down there. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
But I do love Corona because, whole life's been here, all the homies. We're in the middle of everything, so it's cool.
Yeah. I'm sure who wouldn't want to live by the beach, you know?
Yeah.
All right, let's get straight into it. So you are a DJ, correct?
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about the genre of music you're into and the type of stuff you perform.
I'm specifically a DJ in what's called tech house. So it's part of the house music, but it's a specific subgenre of tech house. It's more like groovy stuff. It's not like super big drops or people going crazy. It's kind of just more, moving and grooving. So
yeah,
it's cool. Yeah.
This is a lot more simple, a lot less, or a lot more chill, I guess.
Yeah, more chill, more simple. Well, compared to all the kids listening to like your modern top hits, like even like Calvin Harris or like Marshmello, like they got big drops and it's like super high energy. Definitely more laid back compared to like those artists for sure. But I think people and artists like myself that are in the category will argue that it's the best category of dance music.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, so before we get into all of like what's going on now with you, let's take it back a step, and I want to ask you a little bit about your childhood. I know you played football for a good while. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I love football still to this day. Represent Jacksonville.
What's your connection with Jacksonville?
Actually, my girlfriend's sister, so follow this. Girlfriend's sister is a lawyer for the Jacksonville Jaguars, so that's pretty cool.
Really?
So get all flossed up with the fresh gear.
Have you been able to like go any games because of that?
Yeah, I've been able to go out there twice and watch the games right there on the field, right next to the players. So it's been pretty cool.
That's sick.
And you might not realize, but those are huge human beings. Like even the kicker, the smallest guy, was like 6'4", 200 pounds, like a monster. So it's incredible how big those guys are.
Yeah. So how long have you played football, or did you play football?
Oh, I started playing football in elementary school, maybe like third grade, right into tackle football, and played all the way up until I graduated high school.
Yeah. Did you ever have any thoughts of like taking it all the way to like professional?
Well, I was good like in high school. I was a really good high school athlete, but my size, my stature, and even my speed, like I could have played maybe Division II or Division III, like college ball. But no, there's no way. Or I didn't have the mental drive to be like, I'm a small guy, but I could do this. So kind of after high school, I was just like, my time has come, time to move on.
Yeah.
But I do miss it for sure. I wish I could do that all over again.
I know. I used to play football. I quit like 2 years ago. I miss it still. I played probably like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
But I miss it so much. You also used to skate a lot back in the day. Tell me about that. Like, who were some people that you would be able to meet because of skating?
People I've met like growing up skating or...
Yeah, like growing up. Who like...
Well, first skating was a huge part of my life. Started skating once again when I was a kid, and I got to do that through about high school, and then I got good at sports. And my coaches told me you can't be doing that no more. And then since then, I gradually skate every now and then because all my friends still skate. And I still hang out with some really good skaters, which is cool. And I still follow all of skateboarding. I'm up to date with everything. I love it. I still wear all the brands, Yeah, it's another big part of my life for sure.
Yeah, have any of your friends been able to like make it big in skating?
I got like actual real friends, true friends that I grew up with. A lot of them got sponsored by like Active and stuff like that, like ride shops, free gear and stuff like that. But as far as growing up, I never knew. Oh, that's a lie. I'm sorry. the homie Jeremy, he skates for a brand called Toy Machine, which is pretty big. Jeremy Liabres. He was actually a friend when I was younger, and he was the local hero, Santana Loke. And now he's got like tech decks at Target and like all kinds of shit, Thrasher Mag covers, like so yeah, it's pretty cool to watch one of the homies make it. So
That's super sick. Do they make like a lot of money, or is it just like, is it not worth it?
from what I heard, it's kind of like the music game. Like everyone's doing it, and you could have a bunch of sponsors, but unless you're getting magazine covers or your social media is off the charts, like, well, I know from my friend Jeremy, he made enough to have his own house, and he's got his own dope whip, and I mean he's living pretty good. I mean that's for sure. So
Yeah. I don't know. That feels like it's a lot of work because skating isn't just like you can sit down and skate. You have to like risk your body for it.
oh yeah, all day, every day. I give mad respect to all those guys hucking themselves down those stairs and getting just slammed like over and over. Like if I took one slam now on my brittle body, it'd be game over.
So while skating and playing football in high school, you had this thing going on that you created in it was like a dance group almost. And I'm still in high school right now. I'm a senior right now, and I'm a part of this dance hip hop team called FBK. I just want to know a little bit about your relation from FBK.
There's actually a funny story. I didn't create the group. I had other homies that were great dancers that created the group, but I was fortunate enough to be good enough to be a part of it, which was cool. It turned out just to be like all the homies who were into dancing, so I got into dancing, and it was just those guys that had all the school dances and all the circles. Everyone would like branch out, and they knew all the dances to all the fucking songs. Like this is back when Superman that ho, Soldier Boy was out and like all that stuff. So that was pretty big. And so we decided like, screw it. Let's make a dance crew. And it was actually the first ever FPK, the dance crew that you're on. And a funny little side note about that is at the time there's a female dance group at our school, and they thought they were the hot shit, called Pulse. So FPK originally stood for Fuck Pulse Crew. But our dance coach, Sanders, also my football coach, he said that wasn't going to fly. So we changed it to Funky Fresh Crew or Funky Fresh Kids. Fresh with a PH, obviously. So, yeah, we only did that for 1 year. I mean, we won like a talent show. And that was kind of it. It was just for fun. But I guess that was... I'm really going to age myself right now. It was about 12 years ago. So
Back in 2009.
2009. But you're on that same crew. Or it's become a big deal now.
Yeah, it's become like a lot more organized. It's like we actually go out to competitions, travel for like to win trophies and stuff like that. Still like a high school type of thing, so we don't make no money off of it. Or at least I don't. I don't know about my coach.
But I think that's awesome. One, it's crazy to see my little brother on the same crew that me and my friends started for fun, but it's awesome to see you succeed in it. Like correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been to like Florida and you've been to nationals.
Yeah, I went to Orlando.
And what's your highest place or placing?
In Orlando, that was like nationals, so it was like a bunch of all the teams from across the country, and we beat like 70-something teams for our category. We placed second.
Damn, second in nationals, so that's crazy. So we were doing it for fun. And now you guys are actually doing something with it. So
yeah.
I think that's pretty crazy. And a little next generation, little sibling love right there. I think that's super cool.
Yeah. Did you do it for like when you went in the talent show? Did you do it for like because you like to dance, or did you do it more for the ladies?
Well, at the time, I liked dance because I'm not a dancer anymore, and I have no moves anymore. But at the time, I did it for dancing, and I mean, yeah, bragging rights, obviously, so. It was fun for sure. That was a fun little 6 months that we did it.
That's sick. What type of dancing was it?
Just your standard hip hop, b-boy. We had a couple break dancers in our crew. The wavers or flowers, or I don't know what you call them these days, or some pop and lock. Just Jabberwockies was huge at the time because that's when was it America's Best Dance Crew or
World of Dance? I think it was.
It was the one that was on MTV with that JC guy from NSYNC and that. Anyways, Jabberwockies were huge at the time. So all that Jabberwockies type, move, stop, really work with the music, that was huge. So we were trying to be them. So
that's sick. How much in your opinion, how much has music played a role in your life?
Oh, well, I think just like a lot of people, music's a huge role in my life. I mean, born and raised with music, all different subgenres. Like, I grew up on a lot of 80s, like new wave, which is dope, and 80s rock. And then obviously grew up my whole life with hip hop and R&B. And then when I got a little bit older, maybe like junior high, I don't know if it was like rebelling against the family business or whatever, but I got really into like hardcore music, like Slipknot and Korn was really big. And then from there, I went into like all kinds of screamo music and all that. A lot of kids say emo music and stuff. My hair was long and covered one eye and skinny pants and like all that.
3, 2, 1.
All right, so Tyler, how big of a role would you say music plays in your life?
Well, just like most people would say, music has played a huge role in my life. Starting from when I was a little kid, grew up on a lot of 80s, 80s new wave, and like classic rock and stuff like that. And then obviously from the family business, a lot of hip hop, a lot of R&B, a lot of rap, a lot of all that stuff. So, but it was when I was in like junior high is when I started to, I guess you could say, rebel, and I got really into rock music. So specifically Slipknot, which I'm sure everyone's heard of Slipknot. Slipknot was a big like musical influence as far as getting into rock, which led to like big names like Korn and Disturbed and stuff like that. And then like when I got into high school, that got me into like what people call hardcore or screamo or emo music. Bunch of loud noise, but always respected the drumming and the percussions because those guys just went off. And then after high school, well, also during high school, not only that, because I was in the dance crew and stuff, I was also into all the main stuff. Like Lil Wayne was still huge, but he was super big back in the day and just all the top 40 hits, whatever it was. So I've always been into all kinds of music. The only thing that I'm not really into is like country music. But
Why?
I'm just not into that twangy stuff. I don't know, like it's just my whole vibe. It's not really my vibe. But besides that, I've always been into everything. I've always listened to everything my whole life growing up. So, but it wasn't until I was about 20 years old, 21 years old, and then that's when I got into like EDM music and all that stuff.
So how did you get into that type of music?
What's kind of funny, I was working at this job, Millennium Environmental, and I met one of my still now best friends. His name is Travis Daggs. I met him, and besides what was playing on the radio, wasn't really into it. And then I started seeing him every day at work, and then he was listening to like, at the time, was like trap music. So I got really into trap music, but it was like trap music and drum and bass and jungle, and all kinds of these crazy genres at the time. I was like, what is this? Like, what is this shit? This shit's wild. So he got me really into that, and because of him, he started taking me to shows, like LA shows and stuff like that. And I just fell in love with it. And then I started going to festivals, like 3-day festivals. You go camp out in tents and don't take showers, and your cell phone doesn't work, and you're just in the middle of nowhere, just music for 72 hours straight, like craziness. So after I came back from a couple of festivals, and that's what really hooked me on electronic dance music, EDM in general. I think it was just the environment, the people I met. I don't know. It's something about, like if everything clicks with someone, like you fell in love with dancing, so you love dancing, and you're doing very, very well at it. Something about EDM music, and specifically house, when I found house music, there's something about it, I think, that just clicked in my mind, because every couple of years I got into something else, go through the motions, but the past 8 or 9 years, once I started listening to like house music, it was just nothing but house. Like, I've been stuck, I've been hooked. Something in my brain just won't let it go, and I fell in love with it, and so and now I'm still in love with it. I mean, I got it tattooed on my fingers, so so
That's some hardcore love right there.
yeah, I love it. I don't know. I used to go to bed with headphones on because I can't go to sleep without noise. Like, you put me in a dark room, I'll freak out. I'll just lose myself in thoughts and stuff. So, and then we also had a studio in the garage growing up as a kid, and I was living right above it. So my whole life I was just going to bed with do 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 like noise and commotion. So I think that's what made it that way. Then I used to start going to bed with headphones on and just listening to house music when I went to sleep. So maybe that has something to do with it. Just drilled it into my head, and now I can't get enough of it.
That's all you know.
That's all I know, and that's all I love. Yeah.
So like, how did you get into being like an actual DJ, being a live performer and being an artist yourself? Was it somebody like got you into it, or was it just like your general love for the music?
Well, yeah, going back to those festival days with my friend Travis, after going to these festivals, like, I guess I'm going to sound like one of those typical, like, rave kids. But, like, I was just dancing and looking up at this one guy on stage, just one guy, and he was just, even though he was just playing songs, the way they were putting them together, I don't know, it just made me super happy, made me stoked. Like, I was just living my life. Like, I was like, this is amazing. I love it. So I thought, you know what? I was like, I want to give people this feeling, you know? And coming from a musical family background and stuff, I was like, this is dope. This is what I want to do. And so I just did it. I went home, saved up some money from work, bought, a little DJ controller that everybody else gets, and then just went to town for years in my room, just every day, just mixing music, and it was just, I don't know, I still can do that today. I don't know. It's super fun.
So do you like, how much do you enjoy like actually performing for other people and seeing the reactions when like you're performing for them?
Oh, performing is fun. I love performing in front of people. I'm one of those people. I know a lot of people that get like nervous or they start to freak out or whatever. And don't get me wrong, if you're playing like a big event and you're in a club and it's packed wall to wall with people, like, yeah, you're kind of like, oh shit, okay, here we go, let's do this. But the minute you start playing your music, I love it. First of all, I've always played the music that I wanted to play. There's a lot of DJs or a lot of artists that try to conform to what they think people want to hear, and I've always been true to myself as far as not doing that. So when I'm up there DJing, I'm in the vibe. I'm dancing around. A lot of people say I'm fun to watch because I'm dancing just as hard as everybody else out there up on the stage. But to get the reciprocation from the crowd, hundreds, if not 1,000 people just feeling what you're putting out, it's just an awesome feeling. Like, because I remember, like, before I was doing it, like, it put me in a good mood. I was just in the crowd dancing with a bunch of cool people and people that are there for the same music as you. And then now that I'm able to give that back to people, I absolutely love it. I love performing live and DJing. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Do you like performing by yourself more or with somebody next to you working with you?
Oh, all day. I am the least, you could ask anyone who knows me, I'm the least greedy person. I wish I had a partner. I mean, being up there by myself is cool. It's fun, but it would be awesome to have what they call a back-to-back partner. I would love to share the stage with someone because it's just more fun because you guys are you're up there on stage by yourself, vibing. It's cool, but if you got someone next to you, it's like they mix in a track and it's like, oh, dude, that track's fire. And then you like, yeah. And then like you play and then you mix in your track and, you're just hugging, handshaking, vibing together. Like you got a partner up there. Like it's super fun. So I would love to be in a partnership with someone. I don't want all the credit. I want to share this adventure with someone. I just haven't found anyone who wants to be in my back-to-back full time. But yeah, I would love to do it with somebody, so. Plus, I look at artists like big names like Martinez Bros. Like, they're brothers, and they get to do everything together. They get to make music together. They get to travel together. It's not just one person and their entourage. Like, they got somebody to deal with all the bullshit with and all the ups and downs. Like, I would love to be able to do something with somebody to experience all that. So,
who are some of the people that you've been able to like perform with or work with while you've been DJing all these years?
Well, one name stands out just because I'm gonna name drop, but there's this Dirty Bird artist. She's a female that's blown up. Her name is Vanessa. Now she's playing in front of tens of thousands of people, like in these huge arenas all across the world, like top 10 tracks. It's crazy. But I met her in Orange County and I was able to DJ with her a couple of times before she blew up. So that was kind of cool to see a local person like blow up. So that's pretty cool that I have, videos and pictures of us performing together and stuff. But I've also been able to play with a couple of other Dirty Bird. Well, there's a lot of Dirty Bird out here in SoCal. Like, that's the big thing. Well, one of the big things out here. another artist named like El Monk, and there's been a couple of other artists that I've been, or this guy named Ocean Roulette at this club Focus. I've been able to perform with or open for a lot of big artists, and that's a little bit more pressure, because then you're like, oh, I hope they like what I'm playing, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've had good feedback and stuff, so that those are fun stories and fun times, when you, oh shit, I look up to this person and like, oh, now I'm on the banner or on the flyer with them, like. It's pretty cool. It's pretty wild experience. Like the whole journey has been pretty crazy, I mean, looking back on it now.
Is there like somebody or like a specific like type of person that you like would prefer to have like a person to match their energy with? Like, is there a specific person you would rather open for or perform with over anybody else, or is it just like the same love all around?
Like as far as like locally or
Just in general.
In general, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, I can name 1,000 artists that I'd love to like play with. But there's a couple really dope local artists that are making big moves, and actually, this one guy named Stanley Kubricks, he's on a bunch of record labels, like European record labels and stuff, and he turned out to be a really cool guy, and we connected, and I actually been working on music with him, so I think that's pretty cool. So I look up to him because he's local, but he's made big moves. He's from Miami, Florida, and he's done all the Western music conferences and played in these big festivals out there and stuff. And he moved out here, and I got to meet him, and now he's working with me. So I think that's pretty cool.
So
Sorry, excuse me, but yeah.
It's all good. So before like COVID, I know you were doing a lot of shows. You were making a lot of appearances at all these clubs and stuff like that. There was a specific area that you were performing at, and they almost like were sponsoring you in a way. They were giving you like T-shirts and putting you on their banners and stuff. How did you get into that type of situation?
Like, yeah, as far as like working my way up to being promoted and like stuff like that. Well, that was just a lot of grind time. Like, I spent like before I became a DJ, not let alone a paid DJ, but just a DJ in general. I mean, I was DJing for like 3 or 4 years just in my bedroom, just like every other kid. And during those times, I was going out to all these events in like LA and Orange County specifically. So I knew a lot of people, and I met a lot of people. So when I figured out that, okay, I was good enough to do this, I would go by myself all the time. I've been to more shows by myself than with a group of people. So I would go to these clubs, or let's say like I saw, oh, there's a certain event in Orange County. Okay, I'm gonna go check it out. Oh, this event is dope. So then what I would do, I would go, all right, who's running this? Who's the promoter? Who owns the club? Who are the artists playing or whatever? I would do whatever I could to just network. I would go find my way up to the DJ booth, just shake hands with the artist, or like, hey, like who's the promoter, and find the promoters. And I would just self-market myself, just go find the people that were important and just hustle them like, hey, I'm Tyler Ryyan, up and coming DJ. I can send you a couple mixes. This is what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And I did that for a long time. And I hustled my way up, even through the bigger clubs, the same way. I just would find spots that I thought were cool and that I wanted to play. And I would go out by myself, and I would just, obviously go there and enjoy myself and like have a good time, but mainly for business. Go there and find who I need to talk to. And then if I couldn't find them, thank God for social media, I would Instagram. Just people think, I know some people I've met think it's crazy, but I would just DM anyone I could. Hey, my name's Tyler Ryyan. This is my profile. Here's some music. And just push it out. Everybody. Just bug the shit out of people, basically. But it got me to where I'm able to get, which is actually pretty quick, because I've only been in the DJ circuit for about 3 years. And I've played all the clubs that I've wanted to play, basically locally. And I think it's just because I hustled and I grinded my way via communication or via Instagram. And then people were nice enough, or I came off as a good person or something, where I always got a shot. Every place I wanted to play, I was able to play somehow. And thank God I never blew my shot. Like, as far as like, I would get a shot and I would play a good set. So it just all worked out. I don't know. So super, super thankful that it all did. But I did a lot of grinding. I did a lot of hard work by myself, to try to get these gigs and stuff. So
yeah, and obviously, it comes to say like you're not obviously taking DJ at the time as a full-time job. So like, what were you doing to be able to like afford your equipment and afford to be able to go out and like make these trips to these like local areas and all that other stuff? What were you doing?
I've always been in construction, so just working that struggle, just that construction life, up super early, working all day, coming home late at night, and then just like, I don't know, wake up at 3. Sometimes I'd wake up at 3 in the morning, anywhere from 3 to 5 in the morning, get back 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And if I really wanted it, I would get dressed. I would go to these clubs or venues, get home at 2, get a powered hour of sleep, wake up, work all day, 12 hours, same thing, repeat. I mean, I had a lot more energy back in the day when I was younger, but that was my life. It was going out, working, and that's all I did. So I did that for years. So
Are you still doing that now?
well, now specifically no, because of COVID, but pre-COVID, let's say 2019, not so much, because once I got on the circuit and I became like a local name, I wasn't going out as much as a fan because I was getting booked all the time. So, but I would have a Wednesday night gig or a Thursday night gig, but those are the nights where, yeah, I had to wake up early, work all day, get ready, pack my shit up, go to the club, come home, get a couple hours of sleep. At least the next day after that, I would just come home from work and just sleep into the next day, basically. So, yeah. But still, yeah, there's definitely those grinds for sure. I mean, there's definitely always going to be events midweek, you know, and unfortunately, music doesn't pay all the bills. So I do have a normal job. So trying to juggle those two, you know, it is tiring for sure. So
do you enjoy working construction though? Do you think it's like worth it?
What I'm doing right now is dope because I'm doing home remodels, like what you see on HGTV, like shitty house, add a new kitchen, master bath, and it looks like $1 million. So this is cool. Also, I get to sleep into like 6:30 now. So I mean, that might sound crazy to a lot of viewers, but for me, that's sleeping in. I mean, that's awesome. So, and I'm actually fortunate enough to work with some of my good friends. So, and, you know, and it definitely takes care of my bills. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy now as far as work goes. Yeah.
Do you think you could see yourself like in the future being like a home remodeler or getting into that type of business, or would it be like more focused on music?
Oh, definitely focused on music. I mean, super cliche, but you only live life once, and you might as well give it your all, because I mean, if I don't give it my all and I don't make it, which makes sense, then I just don't want to see, oh, I wish I would have done that, and like have all these regrets and just hate that I never gave it a shot, like a real shot, you know, not just being a local DJ or an up and coming producer or artist, but like actually giving it a real shot, like years, like giving it time to perfect what happens. Because I mean, of course, I don't want to do construction for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, if things don't work out, but I give it my all and they don't work out, then it wasn't meant to be, you know. But what I'm doing now, there's definitely a good career and a good future in what I'm doing. So, I mean, that's plan B. But either way, I mean, I'll be successful. So,
Yeah.
so that's cool.
So you mentioned earlier how COVID has conflicted with like your job and not being able to like work with like at certain times. How has life, aside from your music, like how has it affected your life? Has it been, would you say, more negative or more positive?
Well, actually, I got blessed because as far as COVID, like everyone losing their job, not everyone, but a lot of people losing their jobs and going through a lot of chaos. I think I got busier last year with work. I don't know, maybe people being at home, looking at their homes, thinking about all these things that need to be done to it. But I worked every single working day. I never had a week off or more than a day off all of last year. So I've been super busy. So that was a blessing because I didn't lose any money like a lot of people lost, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's very, very, very fortunate. So
You haven't like started going crazy because of how much you've had to like not been able to do things and not been able to go out as much? That
Well,
hasn't
yeah.
affected you?
Well, of course, because I love going out. That's how I spend my money, is I like to go out and eat and go to bars and drink and stuff like that. So I like to spend money and I like to have a good time. So a little stir crazy at times, like on the weekends, especially because I'm used to like gigs on the weekends or something like that, you know? So, I mean, that was kind of annoying. But at the same time, because I didn't have any gigs, that gave me a lot of time to concentrate on being a producer. So COVID was a blessing as far as music goes, because I didn't have any gigs, but I was just able to sit on my computer and then finally start making my own music and stuff. So
Yeah. So when you say you're making your own music, before you were a DJ that just mixed pre-produced tracks together, right?
yes, that's the perfect way to explain it. So I was just playing other people's tracks and just mixing them together, just making it one long track that sounded good, I guess. So
Yeah. So now you said you're producing tracks.
yes.
So how's that going? How did you when did you realize you wanted to produce your own tracks instead of using other people's?
Well, pretty quick. Well, also not only being a part of like a music production family and stuff like that, I got real over it pretty quick. Like I was DJing and having a good time up there, obviously playing the music. I want to play and seeing all these people react. And I was like, I want them to react to my own music. I mean, these tracks are cool that I'm playing and I love them, but how sick would it be if people were jumping up and down or whatever, but it was like my song. So I was like, I could figure it out. I could do it. So just same thing with DJing. Self-taught myself how to DJ. Not saying that's the hardest thing in the world because I could teach you how to DJ in like an hour. So, but producing music, same thing. Just self-taught, just on the computer. Just what does this button do? Oh, what does this button do? Oh, what does this button do? And then now I've been able to produce tracks, and I actually got 2 records signed this year already.
Really?
Yeah, to 2 different record labels. So that was a pretty big jump to 2021 for me. So
How long does it take you? How many beats did you make and all these other songs that you produced before you were like ready to send in or like release these tracks that you're obviously getting recognition for?
oh, just like every other kid out there producing, I probably have 100 unfinished tracks easily that are like good. I mean, you might start a track, 30 minutes go by, I'm not feeling it, then start over. Or at least that's my process. Like I don't try to dwell on things. Like if I'm working on something and I'm not liking it, I'll come back to it. I'll save it, of course, keep it organized. I'll just start something new. And then because every now and then, like you might just get lucky and you might put a couple percussions or some effects down real fast. Or come up with a dope bass line out of nowhere, because a lot of music, because I'm not a musician. I don't play an instrument. I'm just dragging and clicking and drawing music on a keyboard, or on a laptop. So sometimes you just click and drag your little notes everywhere, and sometimes it flows. Like, oh, this sounds dope, and then there's been days where I could build a track in a day. So, but it's just like every other producer. There's ups and downs. So.
Do you see yourself wanting to produce more of your own tracks, or would you rather have it like focus more on like the DJ aspect of it?
No, because I'm completely comfortable and confident with my DJing. So now it's all about producing. I mean, I don't even practice that much anymore DJing, which I should just to keep the muscle memory intact. But no, I'm definitely just all about producing now.
So for your tracks, house music tends to be like a longer type. Especially with like DJing tracks, it seems to be like a longer, like 40 minutes to an hour type of tracks. With the beats that you're making and the tracks that you're making, are they that same length or are they like shorter, normal like size songs?
Yeah, typical house song. Well, things are changing now because of like Spotify and certain streaming services. Like people have like extended versions, which a typical house song is like. It used to be like 6.5, 7 minutes, right? But now it's like 5.5 minutes, which might not seem like a long time, but that's a big difference in the length of a track. So my tracks, I try to keep them under 6 minutes. So, I mean, there's structure to all music, So the way our songs in house or tech house specifically are structured, if you just follow that structure, they usually turn out to be about 5.5 minutes,
Yeah.
I mean, because also when we make tracks or like the extended versions, like you want to make them so like when you're a DJ, you got time to mix in. So you might have like a 60-second intro of the same boom, ka, a little bit of percussion, hi-hats. You might have that for like a minute, but the reason why those songs are so long like that is because for the DJs in our genre, that gives them that full minute to beat match, get all their EQs matched up, and that's why those songs are so long in the beginning and the end. They're made to DJ. They're made to mix. So,
do you plan on like making your like own tracks in the future and then being able to like mix them together at your own performance?
Well, yeah, I've actually, because I said I have 2 tracks that got signed. One's coming out at the end of this month, actually March 31st. That's on a New York record label, which is pretty dope. And then then my second track that I've been able to play. I had a gig a few weeks ago, LA Underground gig, and it's the first time I got to play my own track live.
How was that?
Got great feedback. All the homies dug it. So it was cool. It kind of happened all fast because I misjudged it. I ended my set with my track. So I played it, I dropped it, and then by the time like the main drop was happening, the other DJ was already up there like plugging his shit in, putting on his headphones, and basically that's when you kind of get scooted out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I played my cards wrong on that. I thought I'd end my set with an original track, but I should have played it in the middle so that people could have heard the whole track, and been like, oh, what is this track? Like, oh, this is my track type thing, like have time to present it,
Yeah.
It happened so fast, but
How was that feeling though, knowing that you were like playing an original song that like no one in the world has ever heard before and it's yours?
it was super cool. Little nerve wracking, of course, but super cool because it's like what I've always wanted to do. Like on your CDJ systems, you have your USB with all your songs, and then you have all your artists or playlists or albums, and you scroll through and you like find your own name and you click it and you have your own songs. I don't know. It's kind of cool. So pretty stoked on it.
You have like the name of your own tracks that you came up with and all that stuff.
Yeah. So, but I have next weekend, the 12th, 13th, I actually have 2 gigs in one weekend, and I'll be able to play both those signed tracks at both gigs. So, that should be pretty exciting.
Nice. So how does the whole COVID situation work out with your performances and stuff like that? How you have like less performances, or is it kind of on the same steady schedule?
Oh, dude, all of last year was so dead. Everything was dead. I mean, I only played one gig last year.
Really?
And that was that gig that happened, well, I don't know, in December, maybe January time. It was at that one LA Underground gig. I mean, I went to a couple of events, but as far as DJing, I only had one gig, and that wasn't even last year. So I went all of 2020 with not even having a gig, and I happened to have one gig this year, and then now I got more coming up next week. So seems like things are gonna be back in the flow, because I know like Miami and Texas are opening up, and there's a lot of artists that I follow getting stoked to go play shows and getting booked for shows and stuff. So I think by the end of this year, I might get back in the flow of things, which would be great too, because now I'm a recording artist, so now I'm able to play my own original tracks. So it's pretty cool. Instead of going like, picking out your track list or like your playlist, like I'll be able to filter my own songs within that set. So I think it's gonna be super cool.
So what exactly do these labels do for you when they sign your track? How does it benefit you?
Well, since these tracks haven't been actually officially released yet, it has been pretty exciting as far as, you get your contract and they go over royalties. So, you'll be able to get my tracks on all, you can buy them from Apple Music or Beatport, which is a huge EDM. That's like Billboard of EDM. And there's also Track Source and like Bandcamp. There's all these websites that people will be able to buy my song digitally, and then I'll get royalties off that. So it's pretty cool. I'll be able to make, hopefully, a couple of bucks off my own music,
Yeah.
So
what is the future as a general look for Tyler Ryan right now?
a realistic future for the rest of this year, just pump out more tracks. I got 2 tracks signed, like I said. So my goal is by the end of the year to have 5. I think if I could pump out 3 more tracks, good enough to get signed, that'd be a good first year. 5 tracks signed, and then going into the next year, hopefully that's 20.
20.
So just keep producing tracks and keep putting tracks out, because I mean, they say to really get recognition, you got to have a track out a month, which as a new producer, like I could see that's pretty heavy. But you put in the time and the work, you can make that happen. But I'm also learning how long the process is, because I got a track signed in the beginning of February, and that's not coming out until June. So that's a long time to wait. So if I'm already in June and it's February, well, I know it's March now, but at the time in February, I got to wait till June for a track to be released. moving forward, it's like, damn, like I gotta start pumping out tracks because before I know it, I'm gonna have to wait until 2022 for my songs to be released that I got signed 6, 7, 8 months ago. So now I'm understanding the process. You know,
Yeah. Well,
like when you see artists like, like R.I.P. Juice World, like he's still releasing these top hits.
yeah.
But it's because now I understand that they may have made that track a year ago, but now it's finally gone through the flow of whatever record labels do as far as production and marketing, like how long that takes artists to release music. So I think once you get the ball rolling, it's all fluid. But yeah, I think starting off right now, there's gonna be a lot of waiting period. You know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully with all like your tracks and stuff getting signed and all of that, you'll get more recognition so that you'll have like the ability to push out your own tracks without having to wait for somebody to release it for you and do all that stuff. So you could have that on the side to put more music out as well.
Yeah, because I know I'm a new artist. So let's say with these record labels that I'm already signed to, I'm sure if I push more music their way, that I could jump ahead or have more say because I'm already part of the team. I'm already signed. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm super new to this, super exciting, but I'm gonna learn. So
Yeah. Well, thank God for COVID, right? Do you think COVID? Are you thankful for COVID giving you more time to practice, or are you like less thankful because you didn't get as much exposure to like perform and stuff like that?
well, at first I was bummed about the gigs because in the beginning of the year I was messing around with production, not really taking it seriously, but trying to learn it. Just maybe an hour a day or something like that, or if I had a free weekend, multiple hours. But I really wasn't serious about it, like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be a producer. I just wanted to learn it. So I was really bummed about there not being any gigs until I started becoming at least halfway decent, at least building tracks and stuff. And then once I figured out, because I use a program called Ableton, once I figured out that program and I figured out how to use it, then that was a game changer because I was like, I could do this. Like, I could figure it out. And I have figured it out. And now I got to do something with it. So then after that, then I was like, okay, now I'm stoked that my weekends aren't full of gigs. Now I could do work on music because you can only be a DJ for so long. You're not going to sit there and make a living being a DJ at the local club playing everybody else's songs. The only way to be successful or to be somebody is to put out your own music. So that's what I'm doing.
It sounds like a great plan right there. So coming down to like a couple of our last questions, I just wanted to ask you like, so you obviously didn't start with all these professional things, the best of the best equipment, all of this and all the other. Like, you didn't even tell me a little bit about your studio per se that you grew up with, or even if you had one when you would grow up, starting DJing.
Oh, okay. So obviously, have the bedroom at the parents' house. And I bought my first controller. So I was like, okay, I need speakers, but not having a lot of money. My first setup was Logitech computer speakers. So you're talking about 2 little monitors, and it happened to come with a sub, but it was like this big. I was like, this is dope. So I straight plugged that into this mixer, and that was my. And then I went to Walmart and bought like this tiny little desk. The desk that actually got thrown away today or yesterday. That was my OG studio desk, where I spent years. I put in so many man hours of DJing on that desk. Kind of sad to see it go, but I mean.
Do you have a better desk now?
Oh, yeah. Definitely a better desk now. But yeah, so I had my little DJ controller, little speakers, and then from there, I got a better controller, and then a better controller, and then bigger speakers and bigger speakers. But for the most part, I just always had a desk, my mixer, and speakers. And I had a shitty computer that I couldn't even run my DJing software half the time. So that was super frustrating. I might get like an hour before it shut down. Restart the computer, and then it would just overload. And then I got a newer computer. It was actually my old computer, but Pops had it all like revamped, like flushed out the system, had it kind of redone. So I got a MacBook, but 2009 MacBook, so it's still super old. But from there, I was able to run my DJ equipment successfully, and that was perfect. So that changed my whole DJ game around. And then now I'm looking into getting a new computer with all the bells and whistles, because now I know about like RAM and gigabytes and memory and processors. And I'm understanding computers now because of how much processing a computer has to do to make music with all of these plugins and sounds and all these side apps that you have to have open and stuff. So that's my next goal. But I do have a dope studio now. I got a professional desk, top of the line monitors, soundproofing, all that good stuff. So once I get this new fancy computer, then my studio will be just as good as anybody else's studio. So
Yeah.
So I have all the equipment basically. So it's up to me to see how bad I want it. So
your setup has always been like an at home, just like sit down type of setup.
yeah, because that's all you need. Like I have like a little keyboard that I never use, and I have like a little machine drum pad. And, you play beats on it and stuff. But all you need nowadays is a laptop. You just need a laptop and somewhere to sit. Like there's a post on Instagram, as of like 6 months ago. His name is John Summit. He was the #1 overall DJ in the world, and he had this post about like, oh, thank you so much, blah 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 blah. I'm the #1 DJ in the world as of right now, and it's like swipe over to look at my studio. His studio was a table and a laptop. That was it. That's how he became the #1 DJ in the world. Not one keyboard, not one synthesizer, nothing. Just his laptop, and he became the #1 DJ in the world. 2020, crazy. So it just goes to show you, like, you don't need, there's all these guys with these huge studios with 14 keyboards and like all this equipment and shit everywhere, and it looks really cool and it looks like a spaceship, but you don't need all that. All you need is a laptop. So that's what I'm going for.
And you've got way more than laptop at this point, so
Yeah, I have.
sounds like you have a pretty good chance.
I have all I need. I don't need anything else. I mean, if I get anything else, it's just because I have extra money and I'm trying to show off or something. I don't know, but yeah, I really do not need anything else. So that's a good feeling as far as moving forward in music production is I'm set. So it's just up to me to make good music or not. So
That's what's up. That's what's up.
yeah.
Well, that's all the questions we have for you today. Where can people find you for when your music comes out?
Oh, and this is what's crazy is all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, like I said, Beatport, TrackSource, Billboard, Bandcamp. And the coolest part, which I know I'm going to sound like a rookie, but it's going to be kind of cool because you're going to be able to Shazam me. I'll be in Shazam. So if you see my track, I think that'd be pretty cool. So, yeah, anywhere that you could buy or download music, every platform, you'll be able to find my music. So,
What should they search up to find you?
Tyler Ryan, 2 Ys.
Tyler Ryan with 2 Ys.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today. Very special guest. And this is another episode of the podcast.
It's the podcast with a prodigy. It's the podcast with a prodigy. It's the podcast with a prodigy. My podcast.